My love story with Bella felt like something out of a movie. We met in college, two art students with paint-splattered jeans and dreams bigger than our tiny campus studio. I fell for her fiery spirit, the way she could turn a blank canvas into a universe of color. She said she fell for my quiet determination, the way I saw the world in shades and light. For 10 years, our life was that masterpiece. We built a home together, filled it with laughter, art, and the kind of deep, comfortable love you read about in novels. When I'd ask if everything was okay, she'd flash that brilliant smile, the one that used to make my heart skip a beat, and say I was being silly. "Just stressed with a new commission, Adam," she'd say, kissing my forehead. I wanted to believe her. I desperately wanted to believe that the woman I had built my entire world around was still the same person I fell in love with. But a gnawing feeling in my gut told me otherwise. It was a cold, creeping dread that whispered to me in the dead of night, telling me something was terribly wrong. I started noticing things I couldn't ignore. The smell of a cologne that wasn't mine lingering on her jacket. The hushed, hurried phone calls she'd take in the other room, her voice dropping to a whisper if I walked in. The excuses for her absences became more elaborate, more frequent. Girls' night, networking event, gallery opening, the woman who once couldn't bear to be apart from me was now finding every reason to be away. The warmth in our home was replaced by a chilling silence, thick with unspoken words and heavy with secrets. I felt like I was losing my mind, caught between my love for her and the mounting evidence that was staring me in the face. My heart ached with a confusion and pain so intense it was physical. Was I just being paranoid? Was I letting my own insecurities create a monster where there wasn't one? I tried to talk to her, to break through the wall she had built around herself. One evening, I made her favorite dinner, lit some candles, and tried to recreate the magic we used to have. "Bella," I said, my voice shaking slightly, "we need to talk. I feel like you're a million miles away. Is there something you're not telling me?" As she looked at me, her eyes unreadable. For a moment I saw a flicker of the old Bella, a flash of guilt, maybe even sadness. But it was gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by a cool defensiveness. "Adam, we've been over this. I'm just busy. You need to stop being so insecure. Don't you trust me?" The word trust hung in the air between us, a cruel joke. I did something I never thought I'd do, something I'm not proud of. I went into her art studio. On her desk, tucked beneath a stack of sketches, was a small leather-bound journal. What I found shattered my world into a million pieces. Her elegant handwriting filled the pages, not with sketches or ideas for paintings, but with a passionate, detailed account of her affair. She wrote about him, a gallery owner named Julian. She described their secret meetings, the thrill of the deception, the passion that she claimed was missing from our lives. Each word was a dagger in my heart. She wrote about how he understood her artistic soul in a way I never could. She called our 10 years of love and life together comfortable and stale. She was living a double life, and I was the clueless, boring husband waiting at home. I felt the air leave my lungs. The room started to spin. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a calculated, long-term betrayal. Every late night at the studio, every girl's night out, it was all a lie. My life was a lie. This was a lie. I closed the journal, the leather feeling cold and foreign in my hands. The man who had walked into that studio full of doubt and fear was gone. In his place was someone hollowed out by a truth so brutal it felt unreal. I walked back into our bedroom, the journal clutched in my hand like a verdict. Bella was sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that her world, our world, was about to end. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, just watching her. Who was this woman, the love of my life? Or a stranger who had expertly played a part for years? The next morning, the silence in the kitchen was deafening. I placed the journal on the table between us. next to her cup of coffee. She looked at it, then at me, and the color drained from her face. There were no more lies to tell, no more excuses to make. The truth was right there, in black and white. "Adam," she started, her voice a weak whisper. I held up a hand, stopping her. "Don't," I said, my own voice surprisingly steady, cold. "I read it, Bella. All of it." The confrontation wasn't loud or dramatic. There was no shouting, no throwing things. It was worse. It was the quiet, devastating implosion of a decade of love. Her tears started to fall, but for the first time, they didn't move me. They were tears for herself, for getting caught. There were no apologies for the pain she had caused me, only justifications. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said, a classic line that felt like another stab. "Just happened, Julian. He gets me." I finally understood. To her, our love wasn't a masterpiece. It was just a rough draft she was willing to discard for something she thought was better. The life we built wasn't a home. It was a cage she was desperate to escape. That was the moment my love for her died. It wasn't a slow fade. It was a sudden, violent death, leaving an empty, echoing void. I packed a bag that day and left the house we had built together. Every painting, every piece of furniture, every memory was tainted. Walking out that door was the hardest and easiest thing I've ever had to do. The weeks that followed were a blur of pain. Felt like I was grieving a death, the death of the woman I thought I knew, and the future I thought we had. Some days, the anger was a roaring fire that kept me going. Other days, the sadness was a tidal wave that threatened to drown me. I leaned on my friends, who were shocked but incredibly supportive. I threw myself into my own art, channeling all the pain, betrayal, and confusion onto the canvas. My studio became my sanctuary, the one place where I could make sense of the wreckage of my life. Slowly, very slowly, I started to heal. The pain didn't disappear overnight, but it began to lessen. I started to see that Bella's betrayal wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was about her own emptiness, her own flaws. My love for her had been real. My commitment had been real. I had given my whole heart, and that was something to be proud of, not ashamed of. It's been a year now. I've sold the house. My art is taking a new direction, more raw, more honest than ever before. I've even started dating again cautiously, but with an open heart. I still have moments of sadness, echoes of the life I lost, but they no longer define me. The nightmare is over, and I'm awake. I survived the worst betrayal of my life, and I came out stronger, more in tune with myself, and with a renewed appreciation for genuine, honest love. My love story with Bella turned into my worst nightmare, but I refuse to let it be the end of my story. It's just one dark, twisted chapter. And now, I'm the one holding the pen, ready to write the next one. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and that it is possible to heal and find happiness again. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.